Welcome back. It's been a while. Sorry about that. Today I think I'm going to work on the Crimson Hand, just the minions. So what I've done is pre-test it. Took some of the purple. I just have a big ball of purple. And took some red because I don't want to go pure red. I want to go close to crimson. And crimson is a reddish purple, which means it's a lot of red with a little blue. So I figured, hey, I got this purple. Why not mix the purple with the red? And as you can see, it looks pretty cool. Looks pretty good. So I'm going to get a more quantity of that, mix it up, and do a test, and we'll come back and see how that looks. In all the cards, it almost looks red and gold. And I don't really want to do that. They're called the Crimson Hand. I want it to be a little more crimson, like in its look, although they are mostly black with the with the robes on. So I have this here. I'm just going to do a quick touch, see what it looks like. And of course it is rather thin. It almost looks red there. So I'm going to have to see how it looks when it dries, because in here it's not looking too bad. I added a bunch of purple and then I added red and mixed and add red and mix until I got a color I kind of wanted. So I'm going to paint that a little bit, let it dry, see how it looks, make sure it's not too red. I want it just a little bit of a purpley tint to it when it dries. So here is the crimson I have mixed up. It's purple with a lot of red, and then here is pure red out of the cap. And as you can see, it is brighter, and this is a deeper color. It's going to look even darker when I do the wash over it, but I do like the way this looks. This just, I don't know, it's bright and shiny, but for this that I'm wanting to do, I'm not going this route. So yeah, I think this looks pretty good. We're going to go with that, and I think I have enough of it to cover all of them because it's not the whole thing, it's crimson. All right, we'll come back and take a look in a little bit. Have that part painted crimson, and I have the face under the mask with a PG color. And they do have their hands sticking out, and in all the cards I've seen, the hands are flesh tone, but I'm going to do them crimson. I mean, they're the Crimson Hand. They look like they have blood all over their hands, or they're wearing crimson gloves. Got all the rest of these done to this point, just the black paint cap. Show you what I'm doing. Just loading it up. Coming down through here. If you accidentally cover the edge, it's fine, but I'm going to try to go back and do that in the gold color, like in the pictures on the cards. And you can decide, there is a cuff on the sleeve of the robe that is supposed to be crimson. And if you do the gloves crimson, you may not want to do the cuff, but I'm going to do the cuff as well. You can see the little ring I'm leaving right there around that. And he has a handful of his robes there. And then along the bottom, don't know if I can get this to focus where you can see it, but he has shoes sticking out from under the robe, and I don't like that. I'm going to change that as well as the hands. When you can't see feet sticking out from under robes and characters are moving about, it's spooky. It's creepy looking, almost ethereal. And I am just going to blend those right in, those little toes sticking out. Blend it right in with the robe. And if I get a little paint, if I smear a little bit of paint on the base, it's fine. Once it dries, I'll get a toothpick and scratch it off and it will be fine. So just load up the brush and rub along the base. Flatten out the brush and then rub the brush toward the base to smooth that paint out. Unless you want to paint the entire base, then that'll be a lot easier on you. Going up under this little right there in the middle, I'm going to do the gold color with the trim, but underneath it is some more robe. And I'm just putting this on pretty thick, trying to get it everywhere in all the little cracks. And if the paint starts building up on the brush or anything like that, you can just clean it off, start again. Here's a little hard part right here. I'm going to dab some paint down in there. And if it goes too much, then I'll cover it up later with some of the trim, some of the crimson trim, and some of the sword color. Do like a silverish. Now that I've got the bottom done, I'm going to turn my brush and paint with the flow of the robes. And the same thing on the hood. Get it nice and thick. Now here it's a little tricky. There we go. Get your brush, start to press, flatten it out, and then pull where you need it to go. There we are. And then the little strings to tie the cape part. And if it messes up a little bit, it's okay. We can touch back up with the crimson and a small detail brush later. Hood. And then get just a little bit of paint. I flattened the brush as much as I could, and I'm going to come up through here like this. Get the edge of the hood, and if it gets a little bit onto the face, it's okay. You'll just have to use a little more white to cover it up. But you can see that went pretty quick, and it's already looking amazing. Just that little bit. I've got all of these done exactly like this. I'm going to let them dry and come back later to finish up the details. These will go pretty quick once you get your crimson mixed up the way you want it. Alright. Mixed up a simple gray, silvery gray, and did all of the swords just straight up in that, even the hilt down there. Not worried about a lot of detail on that. And I did straight out of the cap. It's a little bright, but when I tried to mix it with a little bit of gray or black, it just did not look good. So we're just going to leave it like that, because then when I do the wash over it, the black wash, it'll darken it up some. So that's looking good. And now, come back to my crimson, and we're going to do the cuff of the robe and the gloves. see how it looks. I'll leave the camera going for this one, and then I'll step away and do the rest of them. I'm not even worrying about the dagger handle. I'm just going to say it's completely hidden by his glove. Anything that's not gray on the dagger, but it's a silver ritual dagger is what I'm going to say it is. So I'm not worried about any other color details on that. Here we go. Not bad. You can see there. Yeah. Do the other glove. See how that looks. Doesn't have to be perfect because he is gripping in his hand his cloak and holding it back. So the shape is not going to be perfectly identifiable, especially on these small miniatures. So don't worry about it. Get the color in there and then just let it go. There we are. There's his fingers coming down. So like I said, I changed the model some because I really felt like that was a missed opportunity. They're the crimson hands, so why not give them crimson gloves? Make their hands look crimson. There are some places where it looks like I've missed the color, but I promise I haven't. It is just a thin black up under there. And that's looking pretty good. Need to come around a little bit more for that. There we go. And I'm not going to worry about trying to do any around the collar or anything like that. We're just going to leave it. And on camera, that looks white. But once I paint the mask white, you'll see. And I'm not even going to do a wash on the mask. I want it to be spooky, ghostly looking white. I mean, just boom, white. And the rest of them is so dark anyway. So I'm going to step away and do the rest of these. So here's what I have. All of them look this way. So going with a simple, basic plan makes them quick and easy to paint all of them. And now, straight white out of the cap. Let's see if I can do this without making too much of a mess. Just because that mask is partially hidden by the hood of the robe, and I don't want the paint to bunch up and clump up too much in the eye sockets. Now I'm trying to make sure I don't go onto the face, and my brush, my new brush, is already starting to not do well, not form a good point. So as you can see with that, the skin, the flesh tone is really more of a flesh tone next to that white. And I'm trying to keep the white off of the face, but if I accidentally get some on the hood, that'll be easy to cover with the black. It's not perfect, but if your lines are not perfect, it's okay, because you can just assume that it is the material of the hood. There we go. So I'm going to finish the rest of these up and get a let them dry and get a clear coat on it, and we'll show you the end product. So this will be a little bit of a shorter video. Okay, time to make a wash. So I'm going to grab this big brush and get a little bit Don't need much. See if I can show you. That's just enough to keep the paint and the from staying together too well. Excuse me. There we go. A couple drops of black. There's a little bit in there, but okay. Then some distilled drinking water, purified drinking water, so it's not got any kind of contaminants in it. And take this brush that has the washing soap on it, the detergent. There we go. See what that looks like on the paper towel. There we go, nice and runny. Yep, okay. Just grab one, and I want to rub everywhere except for the mask. I want it to be as spooky, ghostly looking as it can be. Everything else, I don't really mind the black. So we're just going to load up the brush and then rub. There we go. Even on the dagger. And I'm rubbing in the direction of the fabric as much as I can. Make sure you get under the arms there, in the cracks. This is looking really good. Go to the head and go down the side and down this side. Here we are. There we go. And you can see that does change the tone a little bit. That yellow is not nearly as bright now. And everything just looks a little darker and a little, has a few shadows. Alright, so that's it. I'm going to do the rest of these real quick. It won't take long. Let them dry. Do the clear coat, 3 coats, and then let it sit overnight and get you some pictures tomorrow. I knew that the wash would make the yellow darken up with the red. On camera it looks really good, but in person it looks a little more purple than that. So when I go to do the bosses, I don't know if I'm going to add a little red just to make it a little more crimson, but overall these look awesome. Really happy with them. Gonna get some photos and show you guys, and thanks for watching.